Hey everyone, welcome back to Code with Poonam. If you're new here, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more coding tutorials. We are on day 7 of our 30-day pattern challenge. And today's pattern is all about printing a downward facing right angle triangle. So let's proceed with this challenge and we will move towards our VS Code. If we see here in the VS Code, our question is already mentioned along with our sample output, right? So what is the question? We have to write a JavaScript function to print a downward facing right angle triangle, right? And this is the output given to us. So now what we will do, we will come down and we are going to break down this particular question. So we have to write here what a JavaScript function. So I will take this and I am going to put it over here. After that, what we have to do, we have to print a downward facing right angle triangle, right? So that also I will take it here and I'm going to put it over here. Now let us come here at our line number 9 and we are going to define our function name. So we will keep our function name as what? Print pattern, okay? This will be our function name. So when we write this function and after the execution, we should get this particular output, okay? Now, after this, what we are going to do, we are going to write our approach. Since we have to reach to this particular output, so we are going to write our approach, okay? So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to create an str variable, right? Now, in the previous sessions also, I would say that we know that why we are taking this str variable, okay? So in the previous videos, we have seen that we are taking this str variable for what? We are taking this str variable to store our final output, right? So this is going to hold our final output. So that is what I am writing it over here, okay? So what I will do it, I'll write here what? Let str is equal to double quotes. So we are initializing with an empty string, okay? Now let us come down and in this question, we are going to use here what? Nested loops, okay? So here again, we are going to use what? Only two loops. So what is a nested loop? Loop inside and loop is known as what? Nested loop. And here we are going to use what? Our outer loop we are going to use and there will be an inner loop, okay? Now let us come down and see what this outer and inner loops are going to do. So I will just write here what? Our outer loop and then I will write here what? Our inner loop, okay? Now our outer loop is going to control or it is going to manage what? Number of rows, okay? So I will just write here what? Control number of rows, okay? It is going to control our number of rows. Now let us come down and for our inner loop, it is going to control what? It is going to control our number of columns, okay? That is what it is going to do. So I will assume that our outer loop is what? Our I loop and our inner loop will be what? It will be our j loop. So just for the understanding purpose and for the usage purpose, we are assuming it up. This will be our I loop and this will be our j loop, okay? Now we will come down and we will go to this pattern, okay? So from this pattern, we will analyze now how many rows we have, how many columns we have, okay? So now let us come here and let us just put it over here, this pattern, okay? Now here, if you see, line number 19 is what? First row. Line number 20 is what? Second row. Line number 21 is what? Third row. Line number 22 is what? Fourth row. Okay. So I will just write here what? 1. Okay. And this is going to be controlled by whom? It is going to controlled by our I loop, right? And this is our second row and it is going to controlled by our I loop. Again, here this is our third row and I'll write here what? Our I loop. And here number 4 and this is also controlled by whom? Our I loop. So we know that we have here how many rows? We have our 4 rows, right? Now let us understand about the column also. So if you see here, what is this? This is our first column, right? So I'll just write here first. This is our second column. So I'll write here 2. This is our third column, right? So I will just write here what? 3. And after that, where 1 star is there, this is our fourth column, right? So I will just write here what? 4. And this is going to be controlled by which loop? It is going to controlled by our j loop. So I'm just going to write here what? This will be our j loop, okay? So now we have understood how many rows we have, how many columns we have, okay? If we see this pattern once again very closely, we can see in the first row, we are printing how many stars? We are printing here 4 star, okay? So I will just write here what? 4. After that, how many stars we are printing? We are printing here 3 stars, right? So I will just write here what? 3. After that, how many star we have? We have 2 star, right? So I will write here what? 2. After that, how many star we have? We have 1 star, right? So here we have 4 star, here we have 3 star, here we have 2 star, and here we have 1 star, right? So now if you see the I loop, it is starting from 1 to 4, correct? And if we just reverse this I loop, that is 4 to 1, we will be running our J loop with respect to this I, and we can easily get the desired output, okay? So that is why now what we are going to do it, instead of starting I is equal to 1, we will start I is equal to 4. And the order now we are going to change as what? This will become as 4, this will become as 3, this will become as 2, and this we are going to put it as 1. So at the end of the day, 4 rows only we are having. We are just starting, we can say we are starting from bottom. That means 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So this is what we are going to do. We are going to run our J loop with respect to our I loop, and then we are going to get our finally our stars as per our desired pattern, okay? Now before that, we will come here and we will identify our I loop and our J loop start and end point. So I will just write here what? Our I loop, and I'm going to write here what? Our start, then our end, and the same thing I am going to write here for our J loop also, okay? Now, if you see now, for our I loop, when we understood this closely pattern, what we did, instead of 1 to 4, we started our I loop from 4, right? So I will just write here what? Start is equal to 4 and end will be 1, okay? Now, in this case, when our start is 4, here we are going to substitute our 4 to our n, okay? So we will update here what? N is equal to 4, okay? We are going to assume that, and in our for loop structure also, we are going to use the same. Now, let us come to our J loop. Now, J loop will be what? It is going to start at 1, okay? So I will just write here what? Start hyphen 1. Now, where it is going to end? Now, this is going to end at our I, because when I is 4, we need to get what? 4 stars. When I is 3, we need 3 stars, right? So it will start at 1 and it is going to end at where? It is going to end at I. So this is what it is going to happen. Now let us see how we are going to write our I loop in terms of the conditionally statement. So I will write here what? I is equal to n. I is greater than or is equal to 1, okay? And now this will be I minus minus. Now why I minus minus we are putting it here? Because if you see 4 and then 3, then 2 and then 1. So it is reducing every time by 1, okay? So we are going to start at the highest point and we are going to reach at the lowest point. That is why this decrement operator is going to be used, okay? So we are going to use here what? I is equal to n. I should be greater than or is equal to 1 and I minus minus, okay? Now for our J loop, what it will be? It will be J is equal to 1. J is less than or is equal to I, okay? And this will be what? J plus plus. So this is what it is going to happen. So this will be how we are going to write our loop conditionally, okay? Now let us see the structure also, how we are going to write. So I will write here what? For let I is equal to n. Then after that, I should be greater than or is equal to 1. And then we will write here what? I minus minus, okay? Now inside the flower braces, we are going to write our now nested loop, that is our J loop. So we will write here what? For J is equal to 1. J should be less than or is equal to I and J plus plus, okay? After that, what we are going to do? After that, we are going to concatenate our star to our str variable, right? So I will write here what we have to do, concatenation. So I'll write concat, and here I will write str plus is equal to our star. Okay, this is what we are going to write. Now after the execution of this loop, what we are going to do, we are going to take our cursor to our next line. So I will write here what, str plus is equal to double quotes of backward slash of n. And after the final execution of everything, we are going to come down and we are going to print our final str variable. That will be our final output, right? So I will just write here what, final output. This is what we are going to do. Okay. Now, since we have understood now this particular structure, the start and end point also, we also understood where and how the loop is going to be running and starting, everything we understood, right? Then we will come here and now we are going to understand our working also. So we will just write here what, working. So let us come above and we are going to take this I is equal to n, I is greater than or is equal to 1 and I minus minus, right? So we will just take here and we are going to put it over here. After this, we are going to substitute the values, okay? Now I is equal to n and now we know our n is what, 4. So we will substitute here what, 4. And here, since I is equal to 4, so here we are going to put what, 4. Now 4 is greater than or is equal to 1. This is true, right? The condition turns out to be true. And since it is true, it is going to be executing what, our J loop. So we will take this and we are just going to put it over here, okay? Now what is it? J is equal to 1. So we will write here what, 1. And what is our I? It is nothing but 4, right? Now we will test the condition. So if we check the condition, 1 is less than or is equal to 4, it is true, right? 1 is less. So we are going to get here what, true. And finally, we will have here what, our star, correct? After that, what it is going to happen? Our J value is going to increase because here we have an increment operator, right? So we will write here what, J is equal to 2. And now 2 is less than or is equal to 4. Here also 2 is less, right? That means the condition is true. And we are going to get here what, one more star. After that, again our J value will increase because it is J plus plus, right? So J is equal to 3 and 3 less than or is equal to 4. So here again the condition is true and therefore we are going to get here what, one more star, correct? And after that, what will happen? Again J value is going to increase. So we will get here what, J is equal to 4. 4 less than or is equal to 4. Now 4 is not less, but 4 is equal to 4, right? And therefore we will get here what, one more star. Why? Because this condition is true. So I will write here what, star. This is what we are going to get. After that, what will happen? Again J value is going to increase. So J will become 5, right? And here we will have what, 5 less than or is equal to 4, correct? And therefore we are going to get here what, we are going to get here false because our condition turns out to be false and therefore our J loop is going to terminate now, correct? And finally, in our str variable, what we are going to hold? We are going to hold our 4 star. If you see here, in our first line in the pattern, we have printing 4 star. So that we have got it here, right? So when J is equal to 1, 1 star, J is equal to 2, 1 star, J is equal to 3, 1 star, J is equal to 4, 1 star. And when J becomes 5, it is going to be false and hence the J loop will terminate. And inside our str, we will have our 4 star, okay? After that, what it is going to happen? Our J loop, okay? It is again going to our J loop and J loop is going to be what now? If you see here, we have written here decrement operator. So I is equal to n. So we started with 4. So now it will become what? I is equal to, it will be 3, okay? So we will write here what? I is equal to 3. 3 is greater than or is equal to 1. Now again, if you check the condition is true, right? Therefore, it is going to go inside and it is going to execute our J loop. So it is going to start with what? J is equal to 1, right? So I will write here what? J is equal to 1. J is less than or is equal to I. So we will put here what? 3. And now what is our J value? That also let us substitute 1. So 1 is less than or is equal to 3. So now if you check the condition is going to be true, right? So I will put here what? T, and we are going to get here what? 1 star, okay? Now, after that, what will happen? Our J value is going to increase, correct? So, I will write here what? J is equal to 2 and 2 less than or is equal to 3. Now, 2 is less than 3, right? That is why this condition is going to be true and we are going to get 1 more star, okay? After that, what will happen? Our J value is going to again increase. So, it will become what? 3, and here it will become what? 3 less than or is equal to 3. Now 3 is not less than 3, but it equals to 3, right? So again, we will get here what? True, and we are going to get here 1 more star, correct? After that, what will happen? Our J value is again going to increase, right? So J is equal to 4. 4 less than or is equal to 3. Now, in this case, the condition turns out to be what? False, right? And therefore, here it is going to terminate. So I will just write here what? Termination will happen. And finally, inside our str, we are going to update what? 3 star, correct? So that is what we have got when J is equal to 1, J is equal to 2, and J is equal to 3, right? And if you observe here in the second row, we have the same 3 stars, okay? Now we have to go for the next line of execution, okay? Now what will happen to our I value? It is again going to decrement, right? So we will have here what? I is equal to 2. So let us test the condition now. So I will write here what? I is equal to 2. 2 greater than or is equal to 1 and I minus minus. Again, if we test the condition, 2 is greater than 1. That means the condition turns out to be true, right? And therefore, it is going to go inside and it is going to execute our J loop. So we will take this and we are just going to put it down, okay? So let me put it over here and we will substitute the value. So J is equal to 1. So we will write here what? 1, and this will be what? 2. Okay. Now let us test the condition. 1 is less than or is equal to 2. Yes, it is true, right? Because 1 is less. So that is why we are going to get here what? 1 star, correct? After that, what will happen? Our J value is going to increase. So it will become what? J is equal to 2 and 2 is less than or is equal to 2, correct? Now 2 is not less than 2, but 2 equals to 2, right? So therefore, we are going to get here what? We are going to get here our true, and therefore we will get here 1 more star printed inside this, okay? After that, what will happen? Our J value is going to again increase and we will have here what? 3, and here we will have 3. So now 3 less than or is equal to 2. Now here the condition is failing because 3 is neither less neither equals to 2. So therefore we will get here false, and finally it is going to terminate here itself. And in our str, finally we will have here what? 2 stars printed over here, or we can say 2 star concatenated. So this is what we have here. Can you see in the third row, 2 star is properly printing, okay? Now after that, what will happen? Again, our I loop is going to what? It is going to decrement, right? So we will come here and we will write here what? I is equal to 1. Now let us see. So we will write here what? I is equal to 1. 1 is greater than or is equal to 1, right? So now if you test the condition is not greater, but it is equals, right? So therefore, it is going to execute our J loop. So we will take this J loop from here and we are just going to put it down, okay? So I will write here what? J is equal to 1. So therefore, here 1 and then here also 1. Now if you see and test the condition, 1 is not less than 1, but 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, we are going to get here what true, and finally we will have here what 1 star printed. Okay. After that, our j value is going to increase, right? So we will get here what j is equal to 2, right? And we will have here what 2 is less than or is equal to 1. 2 is neither less neither equals, right? So therefore it will be here what false, and here itself this j loop is going to terminate. Okay. And therefore in our str we will have what str plus is equal to only 1 star. Okay. So that is what is the exact output we are going to get. Okay. And after all of them, we are going to see again what now again we have an increment, right? So I is going to become what 0, right? So after this decrement operator is still going to work. So we will get here what I is equal to 0 here. Okay. And now we are going to write here what 0 is greater than or is equal to 1. Now here our condition is going to fail, right? And therefore our loops are going to terminate here. So if you check the condition 0 is greater than 1 or 0 is equal to 1, it is failing, right? So therefore it is the end of our loops, right? And finally we are going to get here what our finally str variable. After that we are going to print it. Okay. So this is what is our exact working, which we are going to see when we write our function also. Okay. Now let us come down and we are going to proceed with our function. Okay. So before that, what we will do, we will just open our new terminal. Okay. Here, and we are just going to take it to the right side. Okay. And now we will write here what our function. Okay. And we will write here what print pattern. Okay. Parenthesis flower braces, and we are going to quickly invoke it. Okay. Print pattern, and to this we are going to pass here what 4, and we will write here what n. And now let us just console our n and let us see our function is properly working or not. Okay. Now let us come to the terminal and we will write here what node07 pattern.js. If you see, we are getting here what 4. So that means our function is running properly. Okay. Now let us come here and we are going to declare our str variable, and we are going to initialize with an empty string. Now let us proceed with our nested loop. So we will write here what for let I is equal to n. Okay. And then I must be greater than or is equal to 1, and I minus minus we are going to write. Okay. Now we will come inside and we are going to write our j loop also. So j is equal to 1. J should be less than or is equal to I, and it will be j plus plus. Okay. Now let us see the execution. So I will just write here what console.log, and here I will write I hyphen then comma, and we are going to write I, then comma, double quotes, j hyphen, and then we are going to write here what j. Okay. Now let us come here and we will write here what node07 pattern.js. And if we hit enter, what we are getting, when I is equal to 4, j is running 4 times. We can see here, right? When I is equal to 4, j is running how many times? 4 times. It becomes false when j becomes 5, right? That is what it is. So when I is equal to 3, it is running 3 times, right? That is what we have here, correct? When I is equal to 2, j is running 2 times. So if we observe it, here we have correctly, right? When I is equal to 1, j is running only 1 time. So this is what we have. And after that, there is no further execution. That means our loop is ending here, right? It is terminating, and finally we have to print our str variable, correct? So let us do that now. So I will just comment this, and what we are going to write, we are going to write str plus is equal to our star. Okay. And once after our for loop execution, we will come here. I'm just going to write here what console.log of str. Okay. Now let us just clear the terminal, and I'm going to write here what node07 pattern.js. And if you see, we are getting the output, but we are getting in one line. Why it is not taking to the next line? Because we have not written here that our cursor should take it to the next line after this loop execution. So we will come here and we are going to write here what str plus is equal to double quotes of backward slash of n, right? So that is what we are going to write. And once again, if we test it now in our terminal, node07 pattern.js, we are going to get our exact output now. But here one more line we are getting, right? One more additional space we can say. So we have seen in our previous video how to correct this, right? So we are going to use here what? Our trim method. So I'll just write here our trim method. And now once again, we are going to write here what? Node07 pattern.js. Now if we see the output, we are getting our exact output, right? Now we will just comment out this console.log statement, and we will come here and we are just going to clear the terminal and we are going to rerun it. So I will write here what? Node07 pattern.js, and we are getting our exact output. Let us go above and test it with this. Okay, it is the same output which we have written here, right? So that is what we have done, and we got our desired output as well. Now let us come here and have a recap of this particular question. So what we have to write? We have to write a JavaScript function to print a downward facing right angle triangle, and this was our output, correct? After that, what we did? We came down and we wrote our important line from that particular question, line number 9 and line number 10. And also we defined our function name as what? Print pattern, right? Then we came down and we wrote our approach. Why? Because we want to get this desired output, right? So we came here and we created here an str variable and we initialized with an empty string. Why we created an str variable? Because we wanted that it is should hold what? Our final output, right? After that, we used our nested loop, our I loop and our j loop. Our I loop is going to control our rows. Our j loop is going to control our columns, right? Then we came here, then we understood how many rows and how many columns and how it is printing. And that is why we also understood that our I loop should start from 4 instead of 1, right? And then we came here and we note down here what will be our start and end point, right? So we noted here our start and end point, and according to that, we wrote our for loop structure also, right? So we came here and we wrote the structure here and we concatenated our star to our str variable. Then we wrote this particular line str plus is equal to double quotes of backward slash n, because it is going to take our cursor to the next line after each execution of our j loop, right? So once our j loop execution is completed, it will take it to the next line, and then after that our new execution is going to start, right? After that, we wrote here that once our execution is completed entire, then we are going to print our str variable. And then on the basis of that, we understood our entire working, right? So we started with I is equal to 4 and we ended at where I is equal to 1. Because our I is equal to 0, at that point, our loop is going to terminate. And once our loop is terminated, we are going to print our str variable. We understood this each and every line here, the execution, how it is getting when the loop is terminated, each and everything, okay? So that we understood each and every line here, and then we came down and we wrote our function. So we wrote here what? Function print pattern, and we were passing here n as an parameter. Then we just consoled our n. After that, we are initializing here with an empty string to our str variable. Then we wrote our nested loop, correct? We also seen here with respect to the working how the execution is done. Then we concatenated here our start, and after that we concatenated here our backward slash of n, right? Then we came down at our line number 64. After our entire for loop execution, we printed our str variable, and we used on that our trim method because there was one additional space coming up, right? So for that, we used our trim method. And finally, at line number 66, we invoked our function and we were passing here 4 as an argument. And on the basis of that, entire function was running, correct? Now let us come here and we are just going to clear the terminal and we are going to write here what? Node07 pattern.js. If you see now, we are getting our exact output, what was needed, right? Now, guys, what I want is, first of all, you all complete with respect to 4 only. After that, what you can do, you can try experimenting with different values of n and let me know the results in your comment. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more programming tutorials. And I will see you in the next one. Till then, keep coding, keep learning, and keep growing. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.